number one. We're going to leave that right arm behind us, or our left arm across the chest, and we're going to turn everything as hard as we can. Look at wonderful pictures of Sam Snead. Look at the older pictures in his life of Ben Hogan. Look at the great pictures of David Duval. Look at the pictures of Peter Jacobsen. When he won the Senior Open this year, they had a picture in Golf World of him smack right at impact. Wow, what a picture it was. I don't know if anybody saw it. But the one thing you'll see common in most all of them is this look there, where the arm is still here. You see, impact, which we're getting to now, in a two-plane golf swing is I'm pretty much bringing everything back where it was. I'm a little bit more this way than I was at address, unless I was really inverted K. But a two-plane downswing, I'm pretty much trying to come back to about the same, sorry, I hit one fat. I'm pretty much on a two-plane swing, trying to come back to boom, where I was. Now, the interesting thing about when I say about, we're not talking about positions in space, we're talking about positions of your arms relative to your body, is if I look at address where the right elbow is. Now, the right elbow is located in a particular place. If I'm going to hit the ball, the elbow comes back to exactly the same place that it was at address. There's a reason why. For my elbow, the club is not going to grow during the swing. I'm not going to get a longer club or a longer elbow or a shorter one. That's where it's going to come back to. Now, that's where it comes back to in a one-plane and a two-plane downswing. The difference is a one-plane downswing, the body comes back in a different place relative to the elbow. There's the elbow. It's going to come back there, but the body comes back there. Can you see what I'm doing? Now, all I'm doing is slightly increasing my spine angle and letting the elbow go out. I want to increase my spine angle in the downswing in a one-plane golf swing. If you ever watched Hogan, watch Tiger, watch Duval, watch Peter Jacobsen, watch Tom Pernice, watch Scott McCarron. Why? It goes back to the same elements. You can turn as hard as you can as long as you don't pop your spine up. Well, it's okay to pop your spine down. In fact, it's very good to pop your spine down because it helps hold the arm behind you even more. Can you see? So when we're telling people to feel tall at impact, I hope you're teaching a two-planer, because you've just ruined Lee Trevino. You've ruined Scott McCarron. You've ruined Peter Jacobsen. And if you tell Tom Watson, it'd be really handy for him to get on down there, you've just broken his shaft off about halfway as it entered the mud behind the ball. He's not going to stay down very long, you see. So one of the elements, the difference in the spine, is I want the thing to go down as a one-planer. I want it to almost go up as a two-planer. Let's look at some of the other differences. Remember the first day when they talked about the backward tilt that they had found on the all players do? Nope, don't all players do, two-planers do. But the backward tilt to the right, where the head moves back behind, side bend. Gail, I wish I could tell you a story. That is so funny. I will tell it. Gail Peterson, friend of mine, was doing Golf America, was that it? USA Today, the telephone calls. Feller called in, he said, I took a golf lesson and the golf professional wanted me to have 10 degrees of side bend. And I went back and took another lesson and he still wanted me to have 10 degrees of side bend. And I went for a third lesson and he told me I needed 10 degrees of side bend. Gail, what is side bend? I hope none of us have that lesson because I hope by the third time I've explained what side bend is somewhere. But side bend does two wonderful things for a two-plane golf swing. Side bend for openers shallows out the angle that tended to be too narrow and too steep. The second thing side bend does is it tends to kick your arms a little straighter. Now remember I said there's no such thing as swinging on a straight line, but I did say upright swings go less on a circle and more up and down, and flat swings go more on a circle and less up and down. So if I'm more a little bit on a straighter line as a two-planer, have that camera, there we go. I want, during impact, the head to kick back just a little bit because it'll naturally force my arms on a little straighter plane, right there. So that'll do two things for me. As a one-planer, I don't want that at all because I'm more in a circle. I'm on a sharper angled circle. So the last thing I want is keep my head behind the golf ball. Because if I get it behind the ball, it's the single thing it's the only thing left that Peter Jacobsen and I work on. Because he still has that much hangover in the downswing of right during the hit, there it goes, he hangs it out to the right. Because what you really want to have happen is during the hit, the head is still increasing its downward and outward move. And the reason it's increasing its downward and outward move is because I'm wanting the arm to come off the line as rapidly as it possibly can. Those of you who once again have any Hogan videos, look what happens one click after impact. The club disappears, the right arm disappears. Every time. You never see it. You'll look at a two-planer, you'll see the arm and the club, even though they're back to the inside, you'll see them click, 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 and then they disappear. But if you look at David Duval, Peter, Scott McCarron, you'll see impact gone. And it always kills me when somebody says Hogan was great because he kept the club going longer down the target line than anybody had ever lived. I go, shorter down the target line than anybody had ever lived. John Daly, I'm going to blow your mind. John Daly, Fred Couples are both one-planers. One-planers with a flying right elbow. Once they get the right elbow back down organized, they're right back here where Hogan was. If you ever have the chance to watch John Daly and can get up kind of close, I challenge you to do something that's very interesting. I told Peter the year John won the PGA at Crooked Stick, I said, that guy's got a fabulous golf swing. Peter says, are you kidding me? I said, no, it's fabulous. So I showed him what I meant by fabulous. He kind of said, yeah. So he was playing that next week at Pleasant Valley in Sutton, Massachusetts, Worcester. Peter's a mimic anyway. And he goes up and he plays a practice round with John Daly. So he calls me in practice. He said, I've never hit it so good. I said, how's that? And he said, I'm doing my John Daly imitation. Finished second that week doing his John Daly imitation. But what the imitation is, if you can find a target line and then approximate 45 degrees this direction, stand over there. His backswing will go dead at you every time. His backswing will go, boom, right that direction. And you'll go, bah, never seen anybody that far. Get you a 45-degree line over there and start watching where John's hit goes. And it goes 45 degrees right over there. John Daly is more in to in than anybody that probably plays the game. David Duval was tremendously in to in. Hogan was unbelievably in to in. Peter is unbelievably in to in. Scott McCarron is. Tom Pernice. Azinger. It's a hallmark of a one-plane swing. If this part of the swing is going to be more rounded, that part of the swing has to be more rounded. Now to get that to happen, I'm going to turn my shoulders as hard as I can along with turning my hips. I try and turn these oblique abdominals right here in the middle. The oblique abdominals are the ones, and I build them up. Believe it or not, this body didn't get this way without the use of special diets, weights, and exercises. Kidding. But I do. If anything, I'm always working on these because I want to turn those as hard as I possibly can. Helps me turn my shoulders.